Hey everybody, this is Harland. Just before we get started, I want to remind you that I will be doing stand-up comedy live in Portland, Oregon, February 17th, 18th, and 19th at a great comedy club called Helium, and you can get your tickets at harlandwilliams.com. That's February 17th to 19th at Helium in Portland, Oregon. And with that little bell, let's not waste any more time. Let's roll down the Harland Highway, and here we go.
The best thing about babies is the way their heads smell.
What does it smell like?
Like heaven.
Let me smell.
A baby's head. Right?
Oh my God, that smells like a Pepperidge Farm, like chocolate double bundt cake. What does it smell like to you?
It smells like new tires.
You're riding down the Harland Highway.
All right, hold tight on the Harland Highway Show.
Harland Williams.
Sometimes I do most of the interview at this level.
Oh, you're a whisperer? You're like a pod whisperer?
Well, you knew that, right?
Yeah, well,
Read my rider?
I knew you were a horse whisperer and a dog whisperer, but I didn't know you were a pod whisperer.
Yes, I am.
Could I ask a favor just for this pod only? Could you articulate, enunciate, and project for fuck's sake? And I don't mean that in an aggressive way. I just mean I'm asking it from one whisperer to another.
Look, I welcome direction.
Oh, good.
I'm not
okay.
one of those that let me do it my way. You tell me what to do, I'll do it.
Just if you could just use a little volume and leave the whispering for when you get up to the graveyard and bury you know who.
Yes.
Great. Well, then let's hit some theme music and let's rock and roll.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Well, now, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Harland Highway. We have a very wonderful, special, juicy guest today. Comedian, writer, producer. Do you still do ballet?
No, retired.
Okay, don't scratch the ballet. Tom Papa is here, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, gang.
That's a nice intro.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, I'm energized.
Well, before you get too energized, you're the only guest where I unfortunately have to read a legal disclaimer before we get too deep into it.
All right, go for it.
It's just to set the table, just to make sure we understand the rules and there's no litigation or anything. So if
Best to be upfront about this.
If I can just read a quick little statement, Tom Papa, and then we're off and running. It's just a quick little statement, and I'll. Here we go.
Better now than get lawyers involved.
Yeah, I just, it sort of stems from your name, Tom Papa, which isn't it's kind of an unusual last name. So I just want to get this out in the clear before we get going. I'm going to say this. Papa don't preach. I'm in trouble deep. Papa don't preach. I've been losing sleep. But I made up my mind. I'm keeping my baby. I'm going to keep my baby, ooh, ooh. Daddy, daddy, if you could only see just how good he's been treating me, you'd give your blessing right now, because we are in love, yada, 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 we are in love, so please, Papa, don't preach. I'm in trouble deep. Papa, don't preach. I've been losing sleep, but I've made up my mind, and I'm keeping my baby. I'm going to keep my baby, ooh, 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 ooh. So just to, get that out of the way, if you're okay.
It's I'd much rather do it this way than end up in the courts with that whole rigmarole.
Okay.
So I'm
Great,
totally
buddy.
comfortable with it.
God, thank you.
Do you valet?
I do when I park my car.
Okay.
What do you do? Because if you have a car, I'm not valeting yours, but you asked if I valet.
Do you validate the valet?
I acknowledge you're here, and I acknowledge we're talking, and therefore I do validate your existence.
Thank you.
Well, you asked.
I'll
validate you anytime. I won't violate, but I'll validate.
I have a book of dummies heads through time. Somebody made a collection. It's like a coffee table book of ventriloquist dummies.
I call it my family photo album, actually. But yeah, what to tell me more?
And I keep it down low by my shelf. And seeing you having real ventriloquist dummies. It's,
yeah.
it's really freaking me out because
it?
it's like they've come out of the book.
Yeah, that's little Coco. Sometimes when I don't have a guest, he sits there and he's my co-host, little Coco.
Nice to see you.
You know, what'd you say? You said validate.
Validate.
And it
yeah.
made me think of another date, speed date. And I wonder if maybe just to, help the folks watching ease into me and you as an entity here communicating and getting into a flow. Do you want to do a quick speed date and just
Sure.
ask each other 3 questions each and see if we're compatible?
On the clock?
Ready?
Go.
Do you want to time it?
Okay, I'll time it.
Okay.
Hold on one sec.
God, my lips are getting dry.
Yeah, all
and
of
I
a
don't
sudden-
mean the lips on my mouth.
No, this is good. It's a good way to meet people. I think
yeah.
get out there. You guys got to get out there. I know it sounds corny, but just
No,
do it.
it's a great way just to, get a vibe for each other before this gets too deep.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. I'm
speed
going to
date.
speed date it. What's a good speed date time?
Why don't we say a minute 30? That's 90 seconds in Cleveland.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me change the time.
Let me can I just adjust my hair before we speed date him?
And go.
Hi, my name's Harland, and I like sports. What kind of sports do you like?
I'm not really into sports.
Okay, that's a big, huge black check mark.
Oh, really?
Why don't you ask a question? Because
Oh.
you're already deep in the hole, loser.
So what do you like? What do you do for fun?
I like duct tape, finding women in dark parking lots, and driving to the desert in the middle of the night with a shovel. How about you?
Samesies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Bing.
so weird. That's
my
so
God.
crazy. That's amazing.
I love to go to movies, but I'm not going to say what genre of movie I like. I want to see what genre you like to go. If me and you were at a movie theater with buttery popcorn and holding hands, what kind of movie would we go to?
Let's say it at the same time.
Spaghetti
Spaghetti westerns.
Western.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And also lasagna romance.
romances. Oh, come on.
My parents and my family are very important to me. Are your family important?
Yes, I think family's very important.
Oh my God.
I think they're very important.
Do you want to have kids?
No.
Yes, you do.
I love children. I love to have a bunch of children.
And last question, because I'm getting moist. Sexually, are you very traditional, or do you like to power plow like a snowblower riding through a Buffalo snowstorm?
Up, time's up. That's so unfortunate. Oh no. Well, nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Good luck with the
good
next
luck.
one. Could you imagine?
No, I don't have to. We just did it. Why do I need to imagine? Speaking of kids, I know you have kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
Be honest. Would you sell them? Like if you could get a good thing on eBay or something for them?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And it's really because I've been seeing these every time I travel now.
Yeah.
I travel a lot.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more and more human trafficking signs, like in the bathrooms, and these phone numbers and hot tips for human trafficking. I didn't realize it was such a thing, so I can only imagine that with there being so much, the value's got to be really low at this point. So what I'm saying, it's a bad time to sell.
It's a
I think it might have
okay.
peaked. It might have peaked.
So you're following the market closely. Smart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah.
What if someone threw in an incentive like a 9-year-old kid and a 2024 Jaguar?
I'm buying or selling?
You're selling.
I'm selling.
Well, you sell the kid, but you get a Jaguar.
Oh, in return.
Yeah. And the money for the kid, whatever your price is. Not so easy now, is it, player?
I like Jaguars.
Say goodbye to Junior.
Yeah. Mine are grown now. They'd be able to litigate. They could do their own
Oh,
thing.
really?
Yeah. My selling days are behind me.
Oh, God, you
I know.
poor soul.
It goes so
You
fast.
poor lost
It
soul.
goes so fast.
Is it worth it having kids? Like, I've never had them, but, I hear so many kids, and it's probably tough to be honest here, but I've had so many people go, oh, don't have kids, but I've also had people who you got to have kids. What's your take on having the kids.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's worth it. You love them so much. It's so much worry. It's so expensive. It's nonstop obstacles and troubles. Not even that they cause, but just it's a human being. So they have needs and they have, their lives, and you feel. And then they leave you. You set up this whole life for them, and then they go out on their own and do their thing. And it's a big, sloppy mess.
Oh.
But I would say definitely do it.
It's a big, sloppy mess, but it's wrapped in love, which seems to be the...
Yeah. And it's just, it's an experience. I don't want to sell it too much because I don't think you're going to do it.
Well...
But maybe.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, I would love to see it. You would be a great dad.
I would.
You would be an amazing
A lot of people
father.
say that.
I know.
I think
it's
I
a
would.
no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
I think my instincts tell me I would too. Because I love kids. I think I'd be really attentive. I think I'd be overly. Like, I don't even have kids, and I've already thought of stuff I would do with my kid. Like, I loved spontaneity. Mm-hmm. And this is going to sound ridiculous, but my dad was very stoic. He did everything by the book. And so when I was in high school, I used to sit there and think, God, I wish one of the principal would come in now and hand me a 15-pound frozen turkey that my dad sent. Like, if I had a kid, I would just say, you have to give this to my kid while he's sitting at his desk in front of... Like, I just do crazy stuff.
I know, you'd be fun.
Yeah, to let my kid know I was thinking of him and I love him and embarrass him, but have fun.
But I see you also being...
Annoying?
No, you'd be a caring disciplinarian. I could see you being like knowing... I think it's a no-brainer that you would be a great dad. So, all right, so let me oversell it. It's a great thing. And as artists, we experience things.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest experiences you can have on the planet is to have children. So why not go through that? Why leave the planet without having done it?
That's an excellent statement.
That was the thing that got us, because we weren't sure we were going to do it, my wife and I. And that was the thing. It was like, why are we going to pass up on the biggest reason for being here?
And it's going to be a mountain of all the things you said, the trouble and all the hassle, but it also brings a mountain. Probably just that, can I say this, and I'm assuming.
Okay.
When you come home from a shitty day and a little kid like 3 feet high runs up and throws his arms around and says, I love you, Daddy. Does that just erase all of it almost?
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's an insane level. But then it doesn't last.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a period that you're going, and then they're teenage, and then they leave, and then they're packing up.
Then it's, I hate you, Daddy.
Everything you went through with your parents of, like, I'm out of here, so long, not returning call. Like, you're now on the other end of that. But it's still...
Did you ever have a scenario where and this is the dreaded thing because I did it to my dad. I'm guessing almost every kid did, but was there ever a scenario where you had to discipline one of the kids and all of a sudden they retaliated with the dreaded, I hate you, Daddy? And they slam a door or they don't talk to you for 3 days? Was there ever?
No.
Oh, really?
We never had that.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah. We never had that. I had a hard time. I don't have a temper. Like I don't act a lot of like, I was never really angry out of like
rage.
Just rage. Yeah.
Ooh.
So that's kind of where it comes from, because then it's off base and they know it's a thing. I mean, there's been times when I've had to discipline them, but I had 2 girls too. And it's like one time I took my daughter by her arm when she was acting up and saying stuff to my wife and walked her down and put her in timeout at the end of the hallway.
Whoa.
Just that action of grabbing her arm and walking with her.
That's The Shining. Don't talk to your mother that way.
We both got the flu the next morning. Like we were both so shaken. Like it was so far from the way we operated.
Yeah.
That it was so foreign. Like the idea of spanking or yelling. It was just not.
Well, did she have because that was obviously sounds like an anomaly. Did she have an adverse reaction to that? kind of physical movement and time
We were both shocked. Yeah.
I mean, your daughter.
Yeah, she was shocked. I was shocked.
But there was no, there was no like resentment or residual anger.
No, they're really
She
sweet.
didn't go out and do a carjacking or anything.
No, and even going through like teenage stuff, they're both ultimately very sweet people.
Okay.
And even if they felt that, they maybe told their friends. The meanest thing my daughter does to me now is takes pictures of me when I'm not looking, just around the house, being fat and sloppy, and then post them on Snapchat for her friends to mock.
Wow. That's probably worth a headlock and some cocoa bonks right there. I mean, I would probably do a few of these.
Because she lets a couple sleek through, and they get like the upper neck view, and you're just like with your mouth agape. Yeah, the waddle.
Yeah, I don't even have kids. Look at my waddle. I got kicked out of SeaWorld about 3 weeks ago. I swallowed a whole salmon. Just like I got no chin, dude.
I
got a waddle, and it's a horrible line at a bar. You want to touch my waddle? I've been slapped so many times.
I remember watching Lewis Black doing stand-up, and he he shook his, and it waddled.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no. And then once in a while on stage, I'll feel it.
Oh.
I'll be like, oh, I'm entering the waddle phase.
Is that the technical name for this physical piece of meat on our necks? Is
Turkey
it the waddle?
The waddle.
Is it called a waddle?
I would think so, because here's your chin, here's your neck. What's that?
I guess that's the waddle.
The waddle.
You know, on a moose where it hangs down, it's called the bell.
Ooh.
That big, it looks like their nutsack migrated up to under their chin.
Yeah, but bell almost sounds too complimentary. It's
a
waddle.
A waddle.
You should be ashamed of it. You do a good job with the chin hair.
Yeah, this really covers up the waddle a lot.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, good job.
Creepy. So your daughter waddle shames you. She
waddle shames me, ass shames me, bald spot shames me.
Oh, you got the cute little Dairy Queen flip.
Yeah,
like the Tintin.
I'm like the Bob's Big Boy who was caught in a fire.
That was caught in a fire?
Yeah,
wow.
And he got out with just the
charbroiled, I'm assuming.
The back is gone, but the front remains.
If Bob's Big Boy got in a fire, it'd have to be charbroiled. I mean, just in keeping with the theme, right?
With cheese?
Yeah.
Definitely. With cheese.
It's cute, though. I like the Dairy Queen.
It's all I got left.
Yeah.
It's all I got.
It offsets your waddle, I have to say.
Thank you.
Your Dairy Queen flip offsets your waddle.
And
that's a compliment.
I just got fan art from my I was doing a show in South Carolina, and a guy sketched me while I was on stage.
Oh my God! You didn't have any clothes on?
It was no. I was posing nude
on stage.
And he gave it to me. It was so insulting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I am?
Yeah.
Like, I felt pretty good. Like, we had a good show. We had a good rapport. And this is what they were seeing the whole time?
I've had that, too.
Oh.
It's like, and they think they're really good artists.
Yes.
So you can't criticize it. But then you get it, and it looks like, you came right out of the river rafting ride from Deliverance. Like, one of your eyes is over here.
Yeah.
Your waddle's on your forehead.
And you're like, this is how the world sees me. Why would I ever go on stage? Why would I ever leave the house?
Oh,
it was really upsetting.
Is it the worst, though? I would be terrified these days having daughters. Is that tough? Do you become like super protective dad when they hit that age where they're starting to date, and maybe you look at their Instagram and maybe they've posted a provocative picture in a bikini, and you're like, you can't be, that's my daughter. You like, that's gotta be, that'd be tough on me for my kid to grow up and enter the world of courtshipping and things like that.
Well, I've never thought of that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I guess it's.
I think I just saw your little thing start wiggling a little bit like an anglerfish.
I didn't even know they were on Instagram.
What?
No, it's a kind of a complicated thing because we're in a new time.
Right.
Where
it's almost like a dangerous time.
Kind of, but women have a lot of more power now on the other side of it. So they're all kind of like they're all dressing a certain way. They're all kind of like owning it. They're like they have like there's a power to young women that wasn't there when we were young.
And you're saying they can flex that power through Instagram, through
Yeah.
social media?
And the culture is just kind of accepted, like, this is what I am, and you're not going to shame me, and I'm not, there's like, it's they're not looking so much for approval. They're not like, if they're posting that stuff, it's because they like just these outfits. It's not to like win the approval of some guy. You know, like it's a weird.
But if it's provocative, like I have a little niece who,
we've been there.
I've only known her since she was this big, and then one day all of a sudden she had like the, the provocative bikini with the whole
looking
family
over
just
the shoulder.
Went, what the hell? Like and it's not even my kid, but I instantly became protective, and I was like, don't do that.
I know, but it definitely is generational. My whole family freaked out on a post that my daughter was like, her and her friends, and it's generational. It's a different thing. The biggest creep factor, and they're like, because they're more powerful and they talk things out all the time, and with guys in school, and they kind of know how to carry themselves and all that. So that like dating thing is okay, and I'm not gonna, they're kids. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. I'm not gonna make them feel shame for whatever.
You can't.
The
do
creepiest thing I have. When you walk around, like if you're at the store, and you see an older, creepy dude,
scoping,
like stop in his tracks and track your daughter.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Track or like
there's one thing
tell.
with some guy like just looking like, oh, there's an attractive girl, but there's other ones who are like,
they lock.
He's on a list somewhere. You know what I mean? He's definitely on the app of the creeps in the neighborhood, you know?
What's that app called where you can look around the neighborhood? The pedo app or something?
The pedo app.
Oh,
you see that, and there's an instinct in you that just wants to kill.
Have you ever confronted a guy?
No, you just
just pick up a cauliflower and throw it at him? Like, you're in the grocery store, right?
I'm in the grocery store. There's definitely things I could throw.
Just get a popsicle and fuck you, pal.
That is, that's a level of that part's rough. But maybe you'll have boys and they'll just help you like around the house.
Yeah, I thought of adopting once, like a whole bunch of boys, like all at once, like 14 or 15. Mm-hmm. And you know how Serena and Venus Williams like kind of were the meal ticket for their dad?
Yeah.
So I thought if I adopted, 15 kids from different cultures, white, Mexican, Latin, Asian, mostly the good cultures that play soccer well, and put together a soccer team and start making a little bank.
Yeah, nice retirement plan.
Yeah.
Smart.
The Harland Warriors or the Harland Hamstrings, whatever, but just putting those little virile 14-year-old soccer playing boys to work and
smart.
Yeah.
That'd be really smart.
Right? Thank you.
Do you have a whistle?
No, thanks. I'm straight.
You're going to need a whistle.
For the boys?
Well, if you're going to coach them,
Yeah, that's really all you'd need, really.
I don't see anything else that you'd need.
Yeah, as a father of 14
they should come with a ball.
They should come with a ball.
They'll probably come with a ball.
And
it's probably
whistle.
included.
It's a kit, really. Yeah, an adoption kit.
You're going to need the whistle.
They come with shorts and a ball and soccer shoes.
I think you might be adopting them too late.
Oh,
if you
14?
Really yeah.
Oh.
14, they should be...
What age should I adopt my soccer team?
Probably 8.
8, okay.
So you can break them down.
And
then make them into your own image.
Should I keep them in the house or build a barn?
I think they should be in a barn in cots.
Like in cots.
Like that Paul Newman movie when he ate all the eggs.
Oh, yeah, Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah, like that setup.
Oh, yeah, and if they misbehave, put them in the hot box.
Put them in the hot box.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We have a failure to communicate.
What we have here is a failure to communicate. I like the way he dragged it out.
That was so good.
Oh, man. Remember the girl washing the windows when they go out on the road and they see that woman washing the car and she's got all the soap suds. She's smelling. That movie's
so great. The greatest.
They don't make movies like that anymore.
They really don't.
You know what's funny? There's still sort of chain gangs, too, in some states.
Oh, yeah?
Have you ever driven through and you see, like, they got the guys working on the side of the road? I've seen them in the striped, like, You'd think that thing would be gone, but it's still out there.
Still working.
Yeah.
Sounds like an adoption possibility.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
Have you ever been in jail? You look like you have.
No, I was arrested. There
we go.
Once, twice.
Oh, now it's twice. Sure, right quickly. It skipped to double.
So that really means 4 times.
Well,
which means 6. Which means I just got out of the clink.
That's right.
Out of the clink. I only got arrested twice.
What for? Here we go.
Once was for the first time was.
We'll say it.
I thought this was a safe space.
It's safe, all right. For you, I'm a little scared. I'm trembling, guy. What have you been into?
It was very mild.
Talk
it was
to
very
me,
silly.
jailbird.
One time was for weed.
What?
On the way back from a concert.
What concert, though?
Grateful Dead.
Okay, that's good.
Philadelphia, back to my school in New Jersey.
Okay.
My friend was driving the giant station wagon with all of us in it, and he got pulled over by the cops, and he had face paint from the Dead show, like a big flower on his face.
He was driving with a flower on his face and wonders why he got pulled over.
So they said everybody out of the car, and they searched everything, and a girl had given me a belt buckle, like a silver belt buckle that had a pot pipe attached to it on the back.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like built in. It was like a little...
What rodeo was she riding in?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
And they searched my stuff, my backpack and everything, and I was clear. But they must have seen me say something to my friend, because after all the searching, they got my one friend for weed. They came back to me.
You?
I think my poker face was not so hot. And they went through it again and found the belt buckle and charged me for drug paraphernalia. So they arrested me for that.
Sure they didn't charge you for luring? I mean, you put a pipe right over your crotch, and, I mean, what were you doing?
Well,
hey, Carol,
young.
you want a toke?
I was young.
Bend down.
I wasn't saddled with family and stuff.
I don't know how you get it. I mean, you look you look more like the undercover cop, and the guy with the flower painted on his face didn't get arrested, but you did?
No, yeah.
What kind of flower?
I had long curly hair.
You did?
I was at a Dead show.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You know what? At least, that's almost a badge of honor. Like, if you told me you were driving home in a station wagon with a guy on a flower on his face and you were at an REO Speedwagon concert, we'd end this podcast right here and a right to now, okay?
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like REO Speedwagon.
Okay, it's been nice. This was Tom Papa, and what was the second arrest?
What was REO's big song?
Heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from another. You've been messing around. It was so accusatory.
It was.
It really was.
It was a lot more aggressive than it sounded at the time.
And what was that other one?
The other one, I was on my way to...
here we go.
I had my audition for the comic strip in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
As
Famous
a young
comedy
comic.
club.
Yeah. And you got you got a date, and then you got to go up on stage when the date rolled around.
Yeah.
I lived in New Jersey.
Oh, boy.
And I was working at a small advertising agency.
Really?
And I got in my car, and I was driving into the city to do my little thing. And on the This is so stupid. On the George Washington Bridge, there's massive traffic.
Yeah.
Everybody merge, like you go through the toll and everybody's got to merge onto the bridge,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You have to go from, 1,000 lanes down to 2 going over the bridge.
Bottlenecking is what it's called.
Thank you. And as we're doing it, this truck and I aren't giving up. And he kind of like went right into me. And now we're like wedged together.
Wait, an 18-wheeler?
No, like a mid-sized truck.
And you were driving...
A Ford Escort.
Yeah, you got to give.
I got to give. But I had no option. I wasn't trying to really front. I was being pushed from the other side. So we locked bumpers. And the Port Authority police that are right there at the bridge put on their little lights and came over. And my registration was expired.
Oh, come on.
So they arrested me and pulled my car right over to the... I didn't even get on the bridge.
Yeah.
And I had my little briefcase with me with my jokes in it.
Oh, no.
And they handcuffed me to a chair. What? I'm like handcuffed just for this little traffic violation. I'm handcuffed to the chair, and I'm like begging, let me go. I've got to go do this audition.
Yeah.
So they start with and I'm like really like chatting it up, really trying
Should've
to do
done
my
your
best.
act.
And I started, they're like, you got some jokes, and they started going back and forth with that. And they let me out, but by the time I had missed my audition.
You missed it?
I missed
but at
it.
least you got a chair.
Exactly.
Wow,
Like,
dude.
yeah. That was the only other time.
Wow, I didn't expect there to be any like crime in your blood, but
Yeah, well,
you got me.
Yeah. Don't let the glasses fool you.
Yeah. So skipping from kids,
Yes, sir.
dogs. What do you think? Do you have dogs?
I do have dogs.
Oh God, what do you got?
Much more work than children.
Really?
Not as worth it as children.
Come on.
Yeah.
What kind of dogs?
We have a pug,
Oh. Yeah.
and we have a black lab with a little Rottweiler in her. Yeah.
I had a buddy who used to say that pugs looked like God backed his Volkswagen into their face.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
But he's got a peeing problem where he just...
Oh, you can't pronounce peas?
He can't...
Poor guy. Have you got him to a linguist?
Yeah, but it's not taking.
Oh,
His
God.
brain's too small.
Oh.
It's just so much work. Do you
Yeah.
have dogs?
I used to have them.
Yeah.
They moved on. The dogs, they
Yeah.
lived out their life cycle, and but I like them. They're good, but
they're
they're a lot
great.
of work.
A ton of work.
Yeah.
And I got in trouble on Bill Burr's podcast talking about this, but I'll say it again.
Say it again.
These dog people get very rabid.
Screw them. Rabid.
They, I'm not sure the love you get back is equal to the amount of work you put in. Like the children,
Yeah.
tenfold. I mean,
Yeah.
forget it. But the dogs.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
And I don't look. I know it's a shortcoming in myself because my father gave away all of our dogs when we were children.
Oh, wow.
So I have like this, like buddies in war. You don't want to
Yeah.
get too close because you don't know in the.
They're gonna bite it.
Yeah, I'm like that with. I definitely created a wall with.
Oh,
pets
really?
Because I didn't want because my little heart got broken when they took our pets away.
Well, pets are very intuitive. Maybe that's what they sense, and maybe that's why you're not getting the reciprocal love back from the little vermin.
I'm willing, and I think you're right, and I'm willing to take on that failing. I believe you're right.
But I some days there's days when you just go, dogs are like man's best friend, and what a buddy, what a companion. And then there's other days when you have those days with your dog where you're just like, all that fucking thing wants from me is food. That's all it wants. It wants some food. It doesn't give a crap about my feelings. It doesn't give a crap. It just wants me to bend down and slop some kennel ration or whatever it's called.
It's really true.
Yeah, so I kind of know what you're saying. I go back and forth a little.
I know. The pug is an awesome like hot water bottle. Like he's heavy and like
warm.
You sit on the couch and he just lays on you like we're not going anywhere tonight, are we? And it's just lovable. But you're right. As soon as he hears someone opening a wrapper in the kitchen,
That's all.
so long, Tom.
Yeah.
Pew,
Yeah.
into the other room.
Well, I think where you have to, and I'm going to help you here as a tip. I think where you have to kind of see the limitations of a dog, you have to do your part to learn how to utilize the animal.
Okay.
So where you're lacking in maybe getting some love or an emotional, visceral reaction from your dog, you go, okay, why do I have this animal? And then you look at the pug and you go, oh, he's wrinkly, he's about this big. And a part is you pick him up and use him as an accordion. So now he's adding some benefit that's not just emotional, but you're getting something out of it.
I like that because obviously I have a hard time with intimacy.
Yeah.
But I do like practicality.
Yeah, and if you put a broom handle in their butt because of that squished up face, you can use them as a toilet to clean the toilet pipes. You just, yeah, they're really good.
With the accordion, do you see it as more of like a New Orleans Zydeco accordion or like a French bistro accordion?
It can be either, because those pugs, people will put stupid hats on them. So if you put a little beret on your little pug and then just squeeze, that's the full French bistro experience.
Yeah.
But if you shove a crawdad up his ass, then you can go completely Cajun.
Go Cajun.
And the sounds that come out of him when he has that cryfish up his ass, it's the yelping like on notes you've never heard. What's the biggest barf you've ever done? That's my next question. The biggest barf. I said it.
Oh, after a breakup.
Oh, God.
I
don't even want to know, but I thought I had to ask.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's a weird one. But
yeah, but it's worth talking about.
The biggest barf you've ever done.
It was after a breakup, and I went to, and I think someone else had died also, like in the same, like in that same month.
Okay.
And I was in New York staying at my buddy's house.
Yeah.
And I went to a bar by myself.
Oh,
and
God.
I was just drinking.
What was the
which
name
is
of the bar?
It's so like the movie kind of thing you want to do, but I never really do, but I was doing it.
You romanticize it. This is what they do in the movies. They just drink the sorrow away.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember the bartender, and it was in like New York, in like Midtown.
Do you remember the name of the bar?
I don't. It was definitely an Irish name.
Okay.
But I don't remember, and it
Wasn't Lucky Charms, was it?
You know what? It was Lucky Charms.
Probably because that's what the barf looked like.
Well, I never saw it, and I'll tell you why.
No. Oh, God. I'm glad I asked about your barf. This is great.
And I remember the bartender, like, looking at me with concern at a certain point. Like, when I ordered another one to get up to go to the bathroom, he was like, really?
Sure.
And I was like, come on, man. And I thought it was all joyful, and but he saw something that I didn't see. And I went back, I stumbled home, back to the apartment.
Yeah.
And I was...
Did you just wobble down the sidewalk just like in the movies?
Yes, just like holding on to the wall, getting there. And I didn't have to like stop, but I kept moving, but it was like a ping pong ball.
Yeah.
Like a pinball.
Just dinging off
Just
a car.
dinging off
setting
things.
off car alarms. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
running into other people.
Yeah.
And there was this in the bathroom. I didn't want my buddy to know he was with his girlfriend, and it was his place that I was staying at.
You were visiting.
I was visiting. He took me in because of the breakup and the thing. And
compassion.
Yeah. And his girlfriend was there, and I don't know if they were in the apartment at the time, but I didn't want to throw up in the bathroom.
Oh, you could feel it coming.
I was coming.
Okay.
I was in trouble, and I didn't want to make a mess and seem like a loser for in front of his girlfriend. And there was a tiny New York window. That, like in New York, they have windows that aren't that size anywhere else in the world.
Yeah,
they're just everything is smaller.
Just so the real estate guy can go, and you've got a window, the beautiful natural sunlight. It's like, who lives here? A fucking elf?
Into an alley.
Yeah.
And I had to like put my head sideways.
Just had your like
out of the Sesame Street window.
like Jack Nicholson in the show. Here's Johnny.
Exactly. And just exploded.
Oh, no.
Trying to catch my breath, just spewing all over the brick, all down. And it was like on the 40th floor or something. It's just
in New York, they call that stuccoing. All over the brick.
It was brutal.
No. Was there anyone down below?
Probably. How many times have you walked through New York and just felt a drop of something? Happens a lot. Yeah. You never know what that something is.
Oh, God.
It was rough. It went on for like a good half hour.
Really?
Yeah, because then I'm spinning and then back out through the hole, out of the porthole.
You puked out of it a few times.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom.
It was bad. That was the last time I sat in a bar and tried to drink away my sorrows.
Isn't it funny how sometimes we romanticize and emulate scenes from movies?
Oh, yeah.
Like we get it in our heads that that's real life or that's the way things should play out.
Yeah.
And then you try something like that. And I remember when I was in college, I loved the Halloween movies. Remember? Well, there's only one at the time.
Yeah.
When I was in college, it was the first Halloween movie. And I was renting a room in the basement of these people's houses, and one of the sons was a welder.
Uh-huh.
And one day, just, for fun, he showed me like his welding getup, and he has the big mask. But before they put the big mask on, there's this little kind of leathery face mask that you put on to kind of, I guess, to take the heat off or whatever. But it looked like the Halloween guy's mask. And I remember I was like, can I borrow that? And I had this full body mechanic suit that I just wore. In college you wear wacky stuff. Yeah. So I had a dark blue mechanic suit that I realized was exactly kind of the same thing the Halloween guy had. And so I just, it was fall, the leaves were blowing. This was up in Canada, so it was perfect. And I was walking downtown to a movie, and I just put this fucking thing on my face, and I just walked through the streets, I was one of the first guys to have a Walkman back then. I was one of the first guys, and I was just playing the theme, and I was just and people were just getting out of my way. And I was just doing that stoic kind of walk. Very creepy.
How many people did you kill?
Not sure what you mean, guy.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
There's
right,
other times
it's fun.
I've been thinking recently, on my way home from the Comedy Store, it's, do my spot. It's 10 o'clock. I'm driving back home.
Yeah.
And I've been craving, I don't know, because it was cold out. I don't know what it was, but I've been craving again, just go into the bar, have one drink. It'd be nice to, the idea of, the bartender knowing you.
Yeah.
You come in, hey, Tom.
Hey, Tommy, he already
Carl.
knows what you want.
Yeah, knows what you want.
Yeah.
You have a thing. You just kind of decompress for a second and then go home. And I think about it almost every time I'm driving home. And how's that going to go? I never pull in because how's that going to go?
Yeah.
Should a bartender know your name?
Yeah.
Should you be putting off returning to your family and your pug? Just to...
And your wife's going to know when you walk in the door and you have a flower painted on your face. She's like, where have you been? Yeah.
But the romantic idea of it seems very appealing. But in real life, not really.
My biggest barf, okay. I was in boarding school. I had my roommate was Jewish. Tony Feldman was his name. Right? Tony Feldman. And he invited me to his bar mitzvah. So I go to a bar mitzvah. I'd never been to a bar mitzvah before. So I go. I'm I think I'm about 13 around there. And so I go, and I didn't know. I don't know if all bar mitzvahs work this way, but at this one, I'd never seen anything like it. They said, everyone sit down for dinner. It was this huge gathering, and we're gonna serve 12 different types of courses. So I'm like, wait, what? So they brought a chicken dish, they brought a fish dish, and I was just like, oh my God, I've never been privy to so much food and different varieties of food. And so I was eating off all 12 courses. I ate something. So for a 13-year-old kid, I almost looked like I was pregnant, I was and then at the end of it, they put up on one of the tables, they put up these things in kind of these fancy kind of martini glasses, but they're like a Jell-O treat with white foam on the top. And I thought, Jell-O dessert treats, right? So I went and I got it, and I ate 3 of them, but it turns out they were those kind of, they used to make these funny colored cocktail drinks, green and pink with a layer of foam on them, but they're sort of solidified, but they were kind of a...
Like a Jell-O shot?
It wasn't a shot, but it was a parfait kind of, but it was alcohol-based. And I didn't know. Johnny pregnant over here thinks he's just... I'm like, holy crap, I can... Really, no parents? I can eat as many Jell-O treats as I want?
Oh, no.
So I eat 3 or 4 of those, and because I didn't know what booze was, I just said, aren't these tart? They must be citrusy,
Who puts those out in front of children?
Well, they just had them out. I guess they didn't think the children would take them,
Yeah.
So I eat these things, and it was in a synagogue. And so after about maybe 20 minutes or so, I just started feeling really... And I went and I had to get away from the people, and I went down towards the synagogue. Like, this was the banquet area. Now I'm venturing into Holy Land. Okay?
Right.
Now Daddy McPreggers is
altar.
heading down where all the holy stuff goes on.
Oh, no.
And I find some stairs right in front of the synagogue, and I'm just sitting there with my hands. I'm like, what? Like, I couldn't understand.
Right.
How does one get sick that quickly?
Yeah.
Half an hour ago, I was eating 12 different kinds of foods.
King of the world.
Yeah, it was like the game of Risk, but with foods. And all of a sudden, it just it just came. And I was sitting there like this, so I was puking like right between my legs. And I hate even talking, but it just kept bigger and bigger. And I'm telling you, it was like the size of a pizza. It was this round. I'm like, how does a boy that big even have that much puke? And it was just, and then slowly but surely, as dinner dissipated, people started walking by, and I'm too sick to even stand up. So now I'm just kind of like, the lion in front of his kill, and people are like smelling it, and I'm just sitting there like, I think there was like a Cujo like drool coming down. It was brutal, dude.
That is terrible. How did someone help you at the end?
No, I just ended up. My parents came and picked me up, and I wobbled to the car, and I was like, I got a hangover. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, why do I still feel so horrible the next day?
What a nightmare!
It was the worst. Yeah.
The worst I was ever thrown up on.
Oh God.
Was I was driving on the Garden State Parkway with my girlfriend, and we're driving along, and the guy in front of me sprays something, and it hits my windshield.
Oh
and
God.
I'm like, and I'm trying to pass, but they're like speeding up, and I can't pass, and they do it again. Now I think they're messing with me. They're throwing shit at me.
Yeah.
And they're like, just kids on the way back from the Jersey Shore, just throwing shit at me. It's like all over my windshield.
Oh.
And I gun it and go around, and there's a poor guy just hanging out of the window, just puking his guts out.
Oh, God.
And now I've realized we're covered in his vomit.
No. Oh God.
Oh, and then you pull into the gas station to clean it off. Well, where do you begin?
They're already covered in puke. Yeah,
just sell the car.
The gas station's where people go to puke. Yeah, you can't scrape off puke in the puke.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, you had to use the squeegee. You're just rubbing it around. It was I still
God.
picture that guy's face.
Oh,
terrible.
Good Christ!
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, so let's segue to comedy, because Tom's one of the most brilliant comics around. But I wanted to ask you, because you're so immersed in it, you're so good at it. It's what you do. You like some guys, it's like they dabble in it, or it's a part-time project. You're full-time, like new, Netflix specials. You've done it all in comedy. But if you could do it all again, and even though you might say, I do comedy all again, but is there a backup, or is there something secondary that if you could start again? Now, let's say this. Let's say you did the comedy thing, you did it great, so you achieved all the milestones. So now if you got to start again, you could say, okay, I did the comedy, it was great. Now I want to do this.
The comedy.
Right. Is there a second passion, or is there something else in your life that you would, if you had to or could start all again, would you? What would you do?
It really would have to be like in this fantasy scenario, like you're not allowed to do it. You did comedy, and now you
can't.
You can't.
Yeah, what would
because it all comes by really. There's no better gig, there's no better experience. Like it was so great.
Yeah.
So it would have to be in this role play that you're not allowed.
Yeah.
It's all done.
But has there ever been something you've thought about, like in real life time, where you go, I love what I'm doing, I love my life, but man, if I could do it again, I really like water skiing, or I love mountain climbing, or what? Is there another thing that if you could live life again, you would pursue something completely different?
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always adjacent to it. Like the only other thing I could think would be to be a writer, to just.
Okay.
But that's, I do that now also. So
Yeah.
it's like,
But
it's not that far.
Are you talking more like an Ernest Hemingway type of guy, like in a cabin somewhere writing a
Yeah,
novel?
like always writing. Yeah.
I see.
I just finished my third book.
What? Talk to me. Holy God.
It's called We're All in This Together, So Make Some Room.
Whoa.
And it's my third book of essays.
What does that mean, essay? I
It's
know.
like comedic essays, like they're like 6-8 pages each. And
Okay.
that kind of a thing, and I really do love it. But I'm being you in this and saying you're not allowed to do that because it's pretty close to comedy.
No,
it's pretty close without the getting up and talking.
No, I think it's totally different because you haven't dedicated your life to sitting down and being that type of writer. So that qualifies.
Okay.
That's the answer
Then
I was
would do
looking
it
for.
because I do like the idea, like even just looking over your shoulder at this beautiful Utah, Arizona landscape.
Yeah.
Like living, I do, and I think about this now.
Yeah.
Of living someplace that is not natural to me.
Right.
Living in Montana in a small cabin, or living in Utah, or with some like isolating, living in a small place with a small town, and you're just writing.
Yeah.
That appeals to me.
You know, I've done that. I won't tell you where my other place is, but what you just said, that's something I do in my life.
You do it currently?
I have another place that's very isolated somewhere, and I call it my Hemingway shack. And I even have a dedicated room that's my writing room where I do write novels and short stories, and I even have a picture of Hemingway up on the wall as an inspiration. So it's my little getaway. When I have time, I go there, and I purposely go there, and I sit down and write, and it's so it's a beautiful fantasy. I'm sort of living.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
About 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How quickly did it become a comfortable or useful place to write? Was it right off the bat, or did you have to?
It took me about. Well, the place that I got was kind of a little bit in shambles, but that's what I wanted. I wanted a place that was kind of I could make into my own little writing shack, and it was sort of beat up, and I could gut it, and I could do some of the construction myself, the stuff I was capable of. I can't do wiring and plumbing, but I can, rip stuff out and hammer stuff up. So that was fun, and then I was able to customize it. And, I made my office, I gave it sort of I bought a really cool desk and a writing chair.
Yeah.
And I put a picture of Hemingway on the wall, and it's near the ocean. So I put fishnets on the ceiling, and I went on eBay and I found some taxidermied fish. Like I have a giant tarpon on the wall with a lure I found hanging out of its mouth. And it's very like apropos to being this kind of closeted writer, and I you know what?
And does it work?
It works. I love it, and I would submit to you because it sounds like something you desire. You can do it in your lifetime with your the money you make. You should. I wouldn't wait for a second lifetime to happen. You could probably get away with doing it, facilitating it somehow.
I've really been. It's been I've been thinking about it a lot more often.
Yeah, and by the way, if you ever want to go down and spend a week or 2 or 3 at my place, you just tell me. I'll hand you the keys.
Really?
If you wanted to experience it.
I would. I will. I would definitely take you up on that.
Let me know.
Here's the curveball, and this is why maybe
you're going back to prison.
I can maybe take back what I said to you earlier.
Oh.
This fantasy of going off to Montana and sitting in the cabin.
Right.
Whenever I vocalize that out loud from the other room, my wife will say, "And where am I?"
You know those fishnets I have in the ceiling? You can wrap her up in those. Oh man, yeah.
And I always say, you come, you're there, and she could be there. I don't need complete isolation.
Yeah.
I said, but there is definitely the biggest thing, as you know, and why you consciously or subconsciously built this place is you do need complete uninterrupted time.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing for writing, uninterrupted time. And so she can come. She always fantasizes of getting into woodworking or stuff like that. So if we could have that on the property. She could go whittle, and I could go do that, and we just know off limits unless in case of emergency. Give me 6 hours. You know what I mean? Leave me in the shack for 6
but
hours.
here's the thing with that. Writing is a lonely pursuit.
It's very lonely.
And creativity doesn't have a timeline like that. And I think the key to letting the writing come out is, I hate to say it, I'm not trying to gyp your wife out of the experience, but when you go off to write, it's almost like an explorer. You're going to find a story. You're going to find a world that you don't even know what exists in that world yet.
Yeah.
And so you have to go on that journey, and you have to do it alone. And sometimes it's like when you go to a movie. When you go to a movie alone, you absorb the movie in a different way when you're alone. When you go with someone, you're kind of like, oh, hi, honey, and I wonder what they're thinking, and they're like, hey, what'd you think of that? And you know what I mean?
Yes,
so
100%.
It's almost like when you're focusing on developing a story, you almost got to go down that laneway alone and fight it out with whatever that creative process is, and then come back. If there's someone waiting there, whether they're whittling or waddling or whatever they're doing.
You hear the saw stop. And you're
you're sort of subconsciously, your brain's going, well, if I don't attend to that, or do they need me, or do they, you know what I mean? It's a distraction, even though they're not trying to be a distraction.
Yeah. But I've done, like I said, I just handed in my third book, and I was able to write these in that environment without, right? So, and I think another really important part is it has to be a ritual. You have to kind of like stick to your thing.
Yeah.
So like if I was able to isolate from 7 till noon.
Yeah.
And because I do think, I don't know, there is something cool about putting in all those hours and then going out and having a cocktail with human beings.
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
returning to the workshop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, let me flip it.
I have a sneaking suspicion that something will happen from the complete isolation.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be better or worse, but definitely something would happen.
Well, maybe I'll relent a little too and say, maybe on the other flip side of that, knowing that your wife or significant other is in the other room whittling and doing their thing, maybe there's a comfort in that. Maybe there's a contentment that adds to the experience. So I shouldn't just assume that it's a bad thing to have someone else there. Maybe it's a good positive force. I don't know. But I guess for my process, I like to kind of just go off on my own. And if I know there's something else out there, it kind of gets in the back of my head. And I go, should I go and check in with them? But maybe that's
But
just
if everybody
me.
knows what the rules are, then you're kind of okay.
Yeah.
I mean, your buddy Hemingway, he would go to work, and then at night he'd be with his friends around the table in Key West and
getting hammered.
hammered.
He'd go out fishing for marlin and just get drunk off his ass.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't end well, but wrote some great stuff.
You could always go the route of The Shining, like just take your wife and your kid and head out to an old haunted hotel.
Yeah, he would have been much better off by himself on that hotel.
When you see me writing in here, whatever the fuck you see me doing, Wendy.
Yeah, he should have done that by himself.
I'm not going to hurt you, Wendy.
If he had done the Harland model, it would have been a bit much different experience.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really exciting, though, that you're doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, the cool thing is, you could Airbnb. Here's the problem, though.
No, I find,
to try it out, just to see if an area is your area.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know what
I was going to say it always seems a little weird being in someone else's space, the energy, but then I think to myself, I've written on the airplane. Sometimes when I'm just like, hey, I got 3 hours, why don't I crank out a chapter?
Yeah, 100%.
So I guess I can't really stand by that, the whole Airbnb thing.
I mean, I do have that fantasy also of when I'm on the road and I am in a nice hotel in a nice spot.
Yeah.
And, you're only there for 24 hours and you got to go to the next place. I always think, that would be cool if I was here for a week, just
Yeah.
writing for a week.
Yeah.
You know, and you're isolated in there, and then you stroll off to get,
Dairy Queen.
Yeah. get a nice Butterfinger Blizzard and come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
You know, sometimes on that note, I hate when we have to do like a Sunday show on a weekend. Mm-hmm. Like it's like you want to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, just get home.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they insist you do a Sunday, I actually sort of find that extra day, that Sunday where you wake up at the hotel Sunday, that's kind of one of those days where you kind of just have it to do that kind of stuff.
The pressure of Saturday night is over.
Yeah.
You just have that kind of... I have that coming up where I'm going to be in Wisconsin, and
I've
got to go from Wisconsin. I'll be done on Saturday, and then I've got to be in Chicago on Monday.
Oh, wow.
So it doesn't make sense to come back. Like, I have a free day. I have a Sunday... and then travel on Monday. I have a free day.
You sound like a Cure song right now.
So I have this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to sit, read. I don't know, but I'm just so kind of excited because I never ever
dead space. Just you can
I'm
just
always
flop.
hustling back.
You just flop.
Flop.
You just flop. Yeah.
Do you read a lot?
You know what? I used to read a lot.
Yeah.
I used to read, a ton. I loved, Ayn Rand and George Orwell. And I read a lot of Stephen King. And I really like the spectrum. But now I find I want to write more than I want to read. Mm-hmm. Because I get so lost in creating my own worlds. Yeah. So I still read, but it's not as prolific as it used to be.
Right, yeah.
But...
I do find when I get, because your brain has to kind of get back into shape to read. Like it has to, like it's right. You're a little scattered. I find though, the more that I read, the better my writing is.
Well, that's because you're subliminally taking in formatting and structure and all that.
Right.
And then the opposite. And I keep flipping the pancake on all these stories, but. There's another element to that where I don't read as much because I'm worried I'll be influenced by another author. Like, every author, like some authors are
real
like
strong
Ray
voice.
Bradbury's like really descriptive and Stephen King's really character driven. And so sometimes I'm worried I'll absorb some of their thing, but you just...
Yeah, but it doesn't last that long, Yeah. Especially at this age. Like, your voice is, you're so... You could have a little bump of that. Yeah. But it's not going to last. You're going to take over.
Yeah, and sometimes it's inspiring, too.
Oh, 100%.
You read someone who writes really well. Like Ray Bradbury, I just love his stuff. Yeah. And I just get, jacked up reading him.
Yeah. No, it's inspiring. And it does kind of click it on. It's just that way of thinking.
Yeah. When do you think your next book will be ready?
It's coming out June. It's coming out June 6th.
Ooh, okay. What's it called? Is this the early plug? The first plug?
We're all in this together, so make some room.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a good title, right?
I like that. Yeah.
We're all in this together, so make some room.
Especially if you live in a van down by the river.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's about.
Well, your laugh. I gotta comment on your laugh because I love your laugh. It's like friendly, but there's also, I've always said to you, there's a little hint of serial killer in your laugh. Like there's something about your laugh that always gets me.
It's funny. I had my daughter's friend from, she's known forever, came back from college. Yeah, and said she was somewhere and she heard a laugh and she goes like, "That's Tom's laugh."
Oh, wow.
So I guess it is kind of...
Was she scared or was she happy?
I think she was happy.
Okay.
Or maybe scared.
I don't know. See, there it is. Have you ever, in your life, this is a weird question, but have you in your life ever bumped up somehow near someone of that ilk, like a bad criminal person or even a serial killer or a murderer?
What do you mean bumped up?
Like in some, you had a handyman at the house and you found out 3 weeks later that he was the root cellar strangler or something. Like
someone from your life that surprised you by being...
Yeah, because that actually happened to one of my buddies up in Canada. They hired this contractor to work in they got a new house and this guy was great, and they actually formed a bond with him, and they formed a friend, and they started socializing with them, and they had 2 young sons, and he had a beautiful wife. And cut to like 5 months after he stopped working at the house, they found out he was a serial killer.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I'm just like, wow. So I don't know why. For some reason, your laugh made me think of that.
That's what I was trying to think where it came from. I didn't know it was from my laugh.
It's ominous, but it's also hearty. It's an interesting laugh. I love it.
No, maybe I am the serial killer because it hasn't happened yet. Maybe this is yours. I just did the podcast with him. He was here eating grape water.
The Waddle Strangler is here. Wow. It's weird, though. I wonder, too, on that same note, if at any time in your life, like whether you're riding on a subway or your waiter or something, you wonder, because everyone has such a secret story, you wonder, have I ever butted up against, has there ever been someone that maybe because I left that guy a tip, or maybe because I didn't cut that guy off, he didn't come after me, or it's like the little lines between what is and what could be is a little bit scary.
It is scary. You're better off not thinking about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're getting near the end of the show.
We are?
But I'll tell you what's great.
What?
Throughout the show, you never asked for the baby, and I got to keep the baby. Remember at the beginning, Papa don't preach.
Oh.
And I'd like you to.
I'm sorry. Who's the serial killer?
That's the baby guy. I'm keeping the baby.
I can't believe
Yeah.
I'm telling you it's time for you to be a father, and
Right.
you already are.
Meet my future right-wing soccer player. Please don't fondle my child, sir.
It is a weird baby.
Do you want to hug him? Like, how do you hug it? You're a dad. How do you hug a baby? Can you show me?
Just,
Well, you don't stroke them like a pug.
this is a strange
Like,
baby.
how would you hug the child to your breast? Not suckle, but hold it to your breast.
This baby makes Coco look normal.
Little Coco. How would you
The best thing about babies,
Yeah.
the best thing about babies
Yeah.
is the way their heads smell,
What does it smell like?
like heaven.
Let me smell.
A baby's head, right?
Oh my God, that smells like a Pepperidge Farm, like chocolate double bundt cake. What does it smell like to you?
It smells like new tires.
Oh my God, it smells like Damien from The Omen.
Why do you have that?
Well, because I told you I'm keeping the baby,
Right.
and I just had to make sure that, keep that laugh. Stay away from my child with that.
I
laugh.
refuse to be
okay.
the psychotic one in this conversation.
No,
After
that laugh again. Just
the laugh does not
I'm
compare
burping
to
the
what is
child.
happening right now.
Here, burp the child.
I don't even want to touch it now. Now I'm worried.
Get out of here. Go play soccer, you little brat.
Yeah, you shouldn't be a dad. It'll ruin your whole writing shed and all of your madness. No.
All right, last thing before we go, Tom.
Yes.
We do this thing with all the guests on the Harland Highway. It's called Words from a Wooden Shoe.
Ooh.
And what we do, you don't look, you reach into the shoe. There's words in here.
I thought about you when I did Colbert a couple weeks ago.
No way. What happened?
Because I was going out. It's at the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Yeah.
I'm always like, what am I wearing? I have these boots I've been wearing that are 10 years old.
Oh.
They've turned into Charlie Chaplin shoes at this point.
Yeah.
I wore them on his show like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And the thought of when you were on Letterman with peanut butter on your boots.
Oh, yeah.
It
was at that theater.
And it was at that theater, and I almost put some on as a tribute to you.
No way.
Yeah, it did cross my mind because I always loved that little memory of seeing you on there.
With the peanut. That was my first time doing Letterman. But since we're going down Trivia Lane, these clogs, there is another one that's a pair. I knew I was doing Letterman. This was years ago. And I always used to like to mess with Dave. So I had a friend who was going to Holland, and I said, get me a pair of wooden clogs, size 10 and a half. I'm going to wear them on Letterman. So the next time I did Letterman, I got this beautiful purple velvet suit. And then I walked out and I had these stupid shoes on my feet. And I just sat there and I crossed my leg and I was just like wiggling my clog. And Dave goes, Harland, it looks like you've got wooden footwear on there. And I said, yeah, I didn't even really allude to them at all. It's just I acted like they were normal shoes. But think of people walking around and,
awesome.
You know what I mean? I feel like we should go log rolling at IKEA
dumb.
Or something. All right, so how it works is you reach in here, pull out a word, and see if it sparks a memory or a story. And this is our final bit. Reach in there.
Okay.
Words from a wooden shoe with Tom Papa. And what is your word, Tom?
This is terrible.
Uh-oh.
Violence.
Now who's the serial killer? Service.
Violence.
Yeah.
I don't like this word at all.
Wow.
It's a terrible word.
Has there been any violence in your life? Or have you mentioned you grabbed your daughter's arm, but that's not really... Was there any... Did you see any violence or experience any violence?
Yeah, of course.
Ooh, what was it, Tom?
I don't
It's a
know.
tough one.
It is a tough one. Violence. This is maybe I'm subconsciously sidestepping it, but when I watched that Bills player when he had the heart attack on football.
Yeah.
I forget his name, Hamlin.
Yeah.
And they were talking all the conversations were about how violent the sport is
before
they knew what had happened to him, and this is such a violent. And I used to play football when I was a kid, like all through my life, up until I graduated high school. And I was thinking it is really like at the end when I was a senior, I had that pinch thing, that pinched nerve thing, where anytime you would make contact, your whole arm goes numb.
Oh, God.
You ever know that?
Yeah.
A stinger. They call it a stinger.
Oh, yeah.
And, I remember at the end, like, trying to play, like, the last 3 games where you have to make contact with people.
Yeah, of course.
But your whole body's going to go numb on one side if you do it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I guess it is pretty violent.
It is. I was thinking of that too, because think about your daily life. Everybody watching.
Yeah.
Think about when you're walking through a door frame at a mall or something, and you maybe accidentally get too close, and you just like kind of do that thing where you brush and you go, you just ding your shoulder for a second. Or you're getting on the subway, or you even stub your toe.
Yeah.
So now imagine running full force into other giant men that weigh 300 pounds, running as fast as you can, and just your whole body colliding, flipping in the air,
I know,
jerking sideways, twisting your back.
It's like a car crash every play.
And they're doing it every weekend, every play.
Yeah, I know. It really is.
It's super violent.
It's insanely violent.
Hockey's like that. A lot of sports are like that.
And these guys are getting so big.
Yeah.
These guys that were big in the past are now fast.
Yeah.
Like they're able to run, like a 4.40 and they're 380.
And then at that speed, they're hammering each other. And even, I even said hockey. In hockey, it's primarily body slamming. It's rare you'll see hockey players collide with their head.
Yeah.
So take all that stuff we just talked about, that violence.
Yeah.
And then these guys get it in the head too. And it's like, wow.
It's insane.
It's
fun to watch and bet on, though.
When you're in bed?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
No, to bet on.
Oh, okay.
It's fun to watch it.
It's fun to watch it when you're in bed, too, because they're getting hammered around and you're just laying there eating popcorn.
Popcorn around you in your pajamas.
Oh, God. Well, let's end it on that, Tom. And
this was really fun, Harlan. It was nice to spend some time with you. Oh, my God.
It was great. But before we go, I want you to tell the whole world, everyone watching, where they can see. Tell them about the name of your new Netflix special, your stand-up dates, your social media.
My Netflix special is called What a Day.
Yeah.
It is out on Netflix right now, and it just came out. It's very funny.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And then I'm on tour. So tompapa.com will lead you to my podcast and my Breaking Bread podcast, which you should come on.
Yeah.
And my tour and my books and all that good stuff.
Say the name, because this is the first plug for the new book.
Yeah,
say the
it
date
is.
and the name one more time, guy.
It's called We're All in This Together, so make some room. You can pre-order it right now.
Good.
Wherever you order your books.
Get it out there.
And then I'll be going around doing signings and stuff starting June 6th.
Oh,
when it
really? I
comes
didn't
out.
know you knew sign language.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. I'm deaf.
Okay. Pardon?
What?
What'd you say?
What?
Pardon?
Thank you for being here.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Thank you for being here. Let's play the theme music. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Papa, hilarious comedian here on the Harland Highway. Go see his stand-up. Pre-order his book. Watch his podcast. Check out his Netflix special. Tom, so great to have you here, buddy.
You too. Congratulations on the baby.
Well, this is Harland. This is Papa Williams. And until next time, chicken chow mein, baby. There's that laugh. Now I gotta sleep at night with that's the last thing I hear.
It's going to echo in your house.
Oh, God.